Okay, so you got a gig coming up and you need to whip yourself into shape. And you're not playing regularly. Most of us were not in a band on a bandstand every night. So what we need is a process where we can get ourselves together in a week, whatever, and be ready to really kill when we do a gig. Now, I have a gig coming up, which is a jazz piano gig, and it's a trio. So it'll be me on piano, and then a bass player, and then a drummer. Right now it is Monday, and it's a week from Thursday, so we're actually 10 days out, and I really want to be good with this. Abraham Lincoln famously said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Now, for me, that means working on technique. And one of the epiphanies for me as a pianist was when I worked with Mike Longo, and he taught me about touch on the piano. And it's something I'd never really considered because it seems like a mechanical thing, like you just hit this and it just plays the note. It doesn't matter if you play it one way or another, but it matters. It really matters. And so I have to get my technique back up. And so I do a 3-part practice session. The first part is technique, second part is technique, and the third part is the repertoire. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time here. The first part of this technique, basically it's just something I've been working on because I've been working on Green Dolphin Street. And Green Dolphin Street, the first 8 bars have these 4 chords. It's like a C major, C minor 7, D minor 7, D flat major 7. So that's one thing, is I'm working on a song. And the second thing is that I want to get behaviors into my playing. And recently I've been thinking I want to get more arpeggios into my improvised lines. I'm very good at the scalar stuff, but I want more arpeggios and more stuff that sounds like bop. So I have this arpeggio exercise that I devised basically for my technique, but it comes from on Green Dolphin Street. Okay, so here's the pattern of this. Remember it's C, I'm doing a C6, and then C minor 7, and then D minor 7, and then D flat major 7, like that. And so I'm going all the way down, all the way up, and the arpeggios are going down as I go down. And they're a series of 4 and they flip inversions. So that looks like this. So that's the C major part. It's a C6. Then C minor 7. Like that. Now, if you take these, if you look at the inversions, I mean, just down like that, right? And then D minor 7, and then D flat major 7. Like that. So those are the 4 arpeggios that I'm using. Notice they go down, right? And then they go up when I'm coming up. So I'll do just in 1 octave, right? And then I turn back around and go up. All right, so let's look at the routine of the metronome. Now, I always start the metronome at 220 ticks, or clicks, I guess, per minute. So, when you hear about beats per minute, these aren't beats, these are 16th notes. So that's 220. And then I'm going to play this arpeggio. All right. So the way I do this is that I start at the very top and I span all the way from here to here. This part is the easier part. It's hard up here. It's hard when your arm is crossed, right? So we started at 220. And I'm just going to show one chord now to not waste your time. So we're going to go to 245. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but that's not so much different, right? That's pretty good. Now we do that. And what we're going to do with each of these exercises is we're going to go from all the way at the top, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. So it's two rounds, down, up, like that. And then you're going to move on to the next tempo, same thing. Okay, so that was 245. Now we're going to 270. 16th note at 270. Still comfortable. Same thing. We'd go down, we'd go back up, right? The next one, 300. Like that. Then we're going to go to 320. That is 320, and I'm going to half that. And so half of 320 is 160. And so that means now this metronome is clicking at the 8th note, but it's still the same tempo. Listen to this. Right? That's cool. Now, it gives you a little bit of a different feel. The reason why the clicks are going so fast at the beginning is to get you used to this hopping feeling, because even when it gets totally legato and it's moving fast, this hopping feeling is still going to be in your wrist in a way. And the other thing I'll say is that the break point for me is really in tempo, and particularly talking about touch. Because as you get into faster tempos, there's a point where you'll have to switch. You can't do this bounce forever. So as you go through these metronome gradations, the bounce is going to have to become legato at a certain point. Now, if you think about it, the piano is really a percussion instrument masquerading as a melodic instrument, right? And so in order to do that, basically, you have the force of time, right? Because you can't actually bend a note. You can't sustain a note. Once you hit it, it just dies away with whatever time it dies. That takes a long time to die. That takes a lot less. The momentum, that suddenly sounds like a melody. You would have to shape it somehow. You'd use dynamics, you'd use hairpins, that kind of stuff. The piano by itself doesn't do that for you. So the touch is really important on a piano. It's really important on a piano. Anyway, that's 160, and now 180 we'll go to. I'll leave all these in the description box, what these tempos are that I do. You can see I'm already starting to have to think legato for this. Then I go to 200. Still has that in there, that constant pulse, but it's also getting more legato now. Now I'm going to go to 225. Okay, now that's the fastest you need to go on this exercise. Just remember to do that down, up, like 2 times, or maybe 3. It can either be 2 or 3. I do 3, It depends. Maybe you need to move on. Maybe, you are the master of your practice routine, right? Speaking of things that you can do, I found that the C minor and the D flat major, the C minor 7 and the D flat major 7, they gave me way more trouble. And it's because they're black keys in there. And the black keys combined with white keys, and the black keys have less surface area, and you have to get closer to the fall board, and there's a lot of reasons why that's harder. So I will, when I start this at the beginning at 220 per 16th, I just do the black keys for a while. I'm just feeling every minuscule attribute of these geographical locations. It's like geography. This is, a hill, valley, right? Just to think about where the black keys and the white keys are. And everything's got to be relaxed. Plus, it's like this is diamond and this is a stylus. Record players, right? Vinyls come back now, so that you can't call me old. It's just completely addressing this. That's where you get the sound. Splat. That doesn't. I hear a difference. I don't know whether you do or not. So you have to come up with your own systems to do this. Like, for instance, maybe you just want to practice going from here to here, right? Maybe when you get to that tempo, maybe you don't feel so comfortable anymore and the claw feeling comes back, right? So you just do that much. Or you could just do this. Get this feeling, because notice I have to really turn to get that, right? Now, I'm not saying that I'm doing this super well right now. This is what this practice is for, and it's what these next 10 days are for. But that's the idea with the arpeggio practice. Now we'll move on to Hanon. So before we just get into the Hanon, I want to talk a little bit about the mindset for all this technique stuff that we're doing. And the mindset is this. You have a daily destination with this. Now, what is the daily destination? It's to play with complete relaxation of your wrist. And it's to spend 25 minutes. And when I say that, maybe you decide 20 minutes is your magic number. Maybe you decide it's 35 minutes. How do I know? You will go through and make the judgments and considerations that I was just talking about, and you'll come up with a good formula for you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about fulcrums, right? So you may know what a fulcrum is. Like, say my hand right here is the fulcrum. And this is something that can basically move on it, right? And also, though, if I take this and put it somewhere where it's not right in the middle, it'll drop in whatever direction. The fulcrum has to be in the right place in order to create a balance like this. Now, that's what's happening here. In your arm to wrist to fingers, there's a fulcrum here, and you're using a little bit of energy in your deltoid muscle to hold up your arm, but not that much. What I'll do sometimes is, if I have a student and I'm trying to get them to play with more relaxation, I'll hold up my finger and say, put your hand there. I said, totally relax, totally relax, totally relax. No, totally relax. No, really relax. And then I'll do this. And you know what happens? It doesn't fall down. And the whole time I'm telling them to relax every muscle. So here's what should happen when I pull my finger away, right? It should just fall. This is what you need. That will give you the right touch. That'll give you the facility to move on. Have you ever heard this term tickling the ivories, right? If when we're going slow, then I can get closer to the key bed. If you press hard, there's a stopping point, and that stopping point is called the key bed. So once you get to where you're going faster, you can't hit the bottom or anywhere close to it. You just have to hit enough. Like I'm hitting that right now. It's not hitting the bottom. I mean, the key is, but my finger isn't. So I'm not going like this and pushing down. I'm just flicking it. And that's tickling, right? Next is my Hanon practice. And basically this mirrors the same thing. But if you don't know Hanon, it's a 3-book series, or now they're all in one book mostly, but they're technique exercises. And the first 30 of them are 5-finger exercises, and they are really good. If you can do these, you will turn into a monster piano player. I can tell you that right now. And they're always what bring me back from the abyss when I've had to take time off. The way I would practice these, exact same thing with the metronome that I just described before. And I would take them, I would learn number 1, and it may take 2 weeks, whatever. Go through these tempo things. Start at the slow one. That's 220. It could even be lower if you need it. And then go to whatever your max is before you start getting into the claw hand thing. And then you got to stop. And then just slowly inch that up. And so however long you learn Hanon 1, then you learn Hanon 2, then you learn Hanon 3, Hanon 4, then Hanon 5, and then you string those together and play them all. Same thing, straight through. Same thing with the metronome stuff, though. So you just up the tempos all the time. And that could be your whole technical practice. And again, I have to emphasize, that's just been a long video. Thanks for staying. I have to emphasize that this is not a destination. It's not like you're going to be trying to get to some speed and then you could just give it up. It's like exercise, right? You don't age out of exercise. If you want to stay in shape, you have to go to the gym all the time. Otherwise, you're not going to stay limber and you're not going to stay strong. And the same thing is true here. So it's just a question of putting in the time. There's no destination other than that. So here's my Hanon. I'm working on 26 right now. I go through these. I've been working on them 30 years. I go back to 1. I go all the way through the book. I go through all the book. I go through the book. And then there's also scales and repeated notes and a bunch of different exercises that are really cool. I've been through the whole book, but these first 30, I'm telling you, these are the medicine. So here's what I'll do. Okay, so the other thing about this is that these mirror, when they're coming back down, they mirror. So this one, on the way up, it does this figure. And then on the way down, it goes, which is just a mirror. Now I'm going to move this up to 245. Great. Now I'm going to move it up to 270. Now, of course, you realize it's on the paper here. You go up to where it stops and then you go back down to where it stops. But I'm not doing that because I don't want to waste your time. So now we go to 300. Then we go to 320. See, this is where the break is coming. This is more legato. Sorry, that's more legato. But I can still do that. So that's where you need to choose how you come in and out of the break. And in music, you know, in the music you're working on, same thing. Like, when do you play something in that with that staccato, more staccato touch, and then with a more legato touch. And the staccato's in the legato, just like I said before, and the legato's in the staccato, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave me a comment about that. I will happily talk about it some more later. So then I change that back to 160. I think you're starting to get the idea. And this is the same tempo. Right? Then I do 160, 180, and here's 200. You got to have some accountability somehow, and the metronome is very good at that. So that's why I use it so basically exclusively. The last thing I want to talk about is just the schools of playing, right? And the school that I come from comes from Beethoven and Czerny and Liszt, and then over to Oscar Peterson. I have a whole video about this, about 10 videos back maybe. And so I learned from a guy who learned from Oscar Peterson. And this particular touch is the touch that Liszt would have had, or the touch that Oscar has. So now for my repertoire practice, right? We're going to talk about that next time because this has gotten a little long. What I will say is that I aim to basically work hard on 3 tunes a day and then play as many of the other tunes as I can. And working hard means going through them and doing all the different textures. So maybe I'll comp once, and then I'll just play the melody for a while, and then I'll split the melody into double octaves for a while. Then I'll play some drop 2 or do the part writing or, all this sort of stuff. And then substitutions and boil downs and reharmonizations and stuff like that. So there's a lot to do on those 3 tunes, and the rest of them you just play like you were there at the gig. And then each day you swap them out. So I'm going to leave you with that, and the next time I'll come back and I'll give you some really good advice about how to get all of these things that I just mentioned into your playing fast for when your gig is coming up. See you soon.